Before we begin, thank you very much to Grarl Brown. Fun name. I assume it's not your real name, Grarl. For joining the Patreon campaign. I do appreciate you helping to keep the channel going. If you'd like to do the same, the description has the link to my Patreon campaign. For as little as $2 a month, you're going to get content previews, shout out, Discord access. Higher tiers, you're going to get exclusive content, and you're going to get review requests. Actually, any video requests. So, whatever you can do, I appreciate. You don't have to do anything either. I appreciate those who feel like doing it. So, we had a brand new trailer drop for Transformers Earthspark, the brand new set of episodes. 8 more episodes coming out in March, so about a month away. And you might be wondering, well, how are you expecting to get an entire video's worth of content out based on a 30-second teaser ad? And I would like to tell you, welcome to my channel. You're obviously new here. My name's TJOmega. I will make mountains out of molehills if I feel like I can get away with it. I love Earthspark. I love this cartoon, and it's been a long time since I've been legitimately excited for a Transformers show as it has come out. So yes, I am into this. I want to talk about this, and I want to break the trailer down because I think there's stuff worth talking about and things that are worth speculating about to see how right and wrong we're going to be a month from now when these episodes drop. So join me as we overanalyze every noteworthy frame of a 30-second teaser. So, first shot, of course, we get, this one was the shot before we even saw the opening logo in the trailer, so it is a traditional rollout type scene for the Transformers. Now on the right we have Jawbreaker, one of our new Terrans. He's still in his protoform stage. He has not picked a vehicle mode yet, and I think that might be a running theme. I'll show you the next screenshot later on, and we'll kind of evaluate there what I mean. But what's worth noting and pointing out and talking about is on the left, where we see the now fully transformed and fully Cybertronian hashtag. She has adopted a vehicle mode. She is decked out in a very lovely purple color scheme. It's unusual. Purple is not generally an Autobot color. It's generally reserved for Decepticons, with very rare exceptions, things like Nautica, for instance. And the character, between the purple and the visor going over her eyes, definitely has a Nautica vibe. I'm actually kind of interested and into it. So and what's noteworthy to me is that now that she has scanned the vehicle mode, she is noticeably a lot taller than the other Terrans, and almost matching up in height to Bumblebee, which leads me to believe the Terrans don't have to stay the size they are when they come out of the goop. Not that these were small Terrans. They were on the larger side. They were larger than Twitch and Thrash were. But it's interesting to me that they don't seem to be stuck at the size. She's a big girl. She's a big girl. So we're going to see her again later on. So for now, we just note and observe, yes, vehicle modes are being adopted. Then we get this, which is super cool. So Bumblebee's running from a blast fired by Starscream, and it's the same hazy, past sunset look. It's an old school canyon, so we do kind of get vibes from the old G1 setting, out in the mountains. It's a really cool look, and of course, yes, it is Bumblebee in a very traditional Volkswagen Beetle mode. It's a more modern bug, which is weird because they still landed in the 80s, according to this. Well, maybe not the 80s, but they landed in the past. They landed 30 years ago, I think it was. So it's a little bit more current, a little bit more round, shapely for the classic Bumblebee design. But it's cool to see. And then we get into things like this. Look at that. Look at that Volkswagen. Look at the Volkswagen slippers. Look at the boxy shoulders. Shot like this absolutely screams flashback to me. It's very much a G1-centric Bumblebee design. Still modernized a little bit. Takes out some of the dumpiness the original G1 model had. So here's where we get into showing that it is not based on G1, but it does kind of take its premise and its original setting as kind of the starting point for its own backstory, which is the good part. It is really cool to see that they did a completely new model for Bumblebee to look a lot closer to how he did originally. So it's this very interesting idea of like, we've finally done like a modernized Bumblebee that looks like his traditional G1 body and G1 vehicle mode. And then we get this shot, which again, we get this really cool look at how Bumblebee looked in the past. And then there's the thing in his hand. Okay, so yes, the Allspark is part of this fiction too. This is actually disappointing to see. Earthspark does so much that is new and fresh. And I think one of the things I spoke about during the episode reviews and the previews before is I love the fact that I wasn't seeing an Allspark. I'm tired of the Allspark being like the be-all end-all, excuse the pun there, of what we do with Transformers and how we drive the plot. I'm tired of the Allspark. So here we have the Allspark again. Now luckily, it does seem like it's going to be exclusive to the flashbacks. Of course, we haven't even heard it mentioned in the first 10 episodes. So whatever the Allspark, whatever part the Allspark plays in this fiction seems to be well and done by the time we get to the modern day. We're going to see that again here in a little bit, but we can move on. So we're back in the present here, Bumblebee in his current design. So the dialogue in these clips, in this trailer, do seem to line up with the clips being shown. This one, maybe not so much, because Bumblebee says, like, just like old times, which is a weird line to say to a Decepticon who is smiling at you, and you're like you're doing that, like, bro handshake, too, right? So, like, now I'm trying to figure out, like, what is going on here between Bumblebee and Breakdown, and Breakdown is smiling. He is happy to see Bumblebee. This is another really weird choice. Even Breakdown himself is a weird choice, considering he usually gets the short end of the stick as far as Stunticons go. So he's an interesting pick. I don't mind it. I definitely don't mind it, but I'm really curious as to what is going on with him and how they're going to go about this. For me, what I like about this shot is the potential that it has going in the direction I want the show to go in. Because we know so far all the Decepticons we've seen have been against the truce, but we know that can't be like an entirety. They can't just be like every Decepticon rejected Megatron's idea of a ceasefire. They had to have some of them that agreed, some of them that laid down their arms and got friendly with the Autobots. Otherwise, it'd just be, you know, like Starscream would just take over and the whole war would continue. No, we actually, like, this might actually be like an example of, yeah, there are some Decepticons who actually chose to lay down their arms and, agree with Megatron. Breakdown might be one of them, which would be cool. It'd be a standout moment for Breakdown, who normally just kind of gets relegated just one of the goons amongst the Stunticons. It's interesting to me that Breakdown, like, out of all the Stunticons, Breakdown does seem to get picked most often, which is interesting. But it is another thing to speculate on. Is this a trick? Do they really have a shared history? Like, are they actually friends, or is he up to something the way Swindle was? Or it could be like a thing of like, like this is like a post-battle thing where like Breakdown actually decided to switch sides. I don't know. This is what gets me. I don't know, because this show is prone to do anything at once. That's interesting. Speaking of interesting. Oh, I think, was it Nick Roche who tweeted this out? It's like, oh my god, we are getting Tarantulas in this show. And we're getting them early, too. That's super cool. Here's what's super cool. Transmetal colors. I love that Transmetal Tarantulas is kind of the one that's like the de facto Tarantulas now. Nothing against his original color scheme, but that Transmetal color just stands out on him so much and makes him look so freaking cool. Oh, I cannot wait to see what he is up to, because it's going to be creepy. It's going to be creepy. It looks like he's in a cemetery. It's going to be creepy. I want to see it. I want to see this so bad. I want the toy. I want toys of this so bad. It needs a deluxe minimum. Like, this is where I kind of hate the fact that we don't have any like higher size classes for the kids lines. You know, like we don't have like the equivalent of a Voyager where I can still get like a really good set of like articulation out of a toy without sacrificing for a gimmick. I want this bigger. I want this bigger. I want more Transmetal Tarantulas. All right. We got another shot of Starscream still in his holding cell. So the shot we saw of him previously, I didn't have a shot of it because it's such a small shot. But he is standing in the same valley with a kind of like dusk sky going on. So part of the flashback. As of these 8 episodes, he's still stuck in his cell. Then there's this guy, Shockwave, looking very boxy in G1. I was speculating before there was a Shockwave toy announced for the line that was just a repaint of his previous deluxe from Cyberverse. So I was kind of wondering if he was even going to be in the show or if he was just a wave filler. But no, in the show. So cool to see Shockwave back looking like super boxy G1. We see Optimus Prime here. What's interesting about him? No ghost faction. Now, again, it's got that hazy, almost nighttime sky going on, so this is probably from the flashback. Probably like, this is like the flashpoint, right? So this is like the point where Bumblebee vanishes with the Allspark, and Megatron is trying to talk the Decepticons into standing down. That feels like where this scene is going in the flashback that we're going to see. That I want to see. Like, instead of that, like, now, don't get me wrong. Get me wrong. The G1 animation style flashback was super cool, but I want to see exactly what happened. I want to actually know for sure. So that is what I'm looking forward to here. And here's the other side of that scene and the other side of that flashback. Megatron is wearing a Decepticon emblem, but he is talking about, like, it doesn't have to be this way. Like, he's trying to talk Shockwave down. And it is an actual voice clip from the scene because the lip flaps completely match. So here we go where Megatron is apparently talked into shutting down, and he's got, he's trying, apparently trying to claim the Allspark or whatever this piece of cord is going to be. And Shockwave's having none of it. So Shockwave might be like the crux here. Like, if Shockwave had continued on, maybe the war would still continue. We don't know. Oh, but it's going to play a big role. Obviously, it's going to play a big role. This is a super scuffed shot. There's not a very clear shot of this one because it's a very fast scene and it's going off to the right. But we do see, and I'm going to have to, in order to do this right, I'm going to have to adjust this, aren't I? So you can see. There we go. So you see that? You see that armored truck there on the right? That is Hashtag's vehicle mode. It's the same red walled tires. It is the same purple color scheme. She gets a pretty beefy alt mode, and the second girl to get a beefy alt mode in this show. Third, if you consider RC's like classic car beefy, which, I think a car person would call that old like Cadillac looking thing beefy for a car. Once again, and then we see Jawbreaker riding around on top. I mean, it makes me curious if they're really going to draw out how long it takes for Jawbreaker to pick a vehicle mode. It might be like his character quirk, where he just does not find an alt mode that suits him or feels right for him. So it might be a while. We might be sitting on Jawbreaker for a long time before we actually get to see what he'll turn into. It's going to be a fun little thing to speculate on, certainly. And if it's part of his like identity and like who he's trying to be, all the more so. It's going to be an interesting parallel. Because I don't think we've ever seen a Transformer who's like, I don't know what my alt mode should be. God, I'm stuck with it once I choose it. I mean, it's an identity thing. And if we know anything, thanks to Nightshade in this show, they're not willing, they are perfectly willing to tackle identity things with this show. So it's going to be a curious look if that's the direction they go in. And for all I know, he could get, this is like episode 11, and then episode 12, he gets his alt mode. But, it's like I said, this is why it's fun to speculate now when we only have 30 seconds to go by. And this is just what I would think would be interesting and cool. And just knowing the show, what the show is willing to do to tell new stories, that makes me think they could go in that direction. Okay, we have a shot on what seems to be an arena made of abandoned subway cars and a crowd of people cheering on. What's weird about this is that Bumblebee is in this scene. You know, the guy is not supposed to be visible by any humans. The guy is supposed to be in hiding. And here was in a whole arena of humans watching him. And they're watching him fight this guy. Look at Grimlock and his PS1 looking head. I'm not totally sold on the head design on this Grimlock. I'm gonna be honest with you. But it is cool that Grimlock's in the show. I think that's another one where I saw him on the back of a box and went, please just tell me that he's actually in the show and that's not just wave filler from his previous deluxe. Nope. He's in the show. He is in the show and looking pretty awesome. This is, again, where I'm upset that the toys only have Warrior and Deluxe class sizes for, like, articulated transforming toys. Because he's so much bigger. He should be so much bigger than the others. The coolest part about this announcement was finding out that the voice of Grimlock in the show is going to be... I'm sorry. It's hard to believe is what it is. It's going to be Keith David. Keith David, like Goliath Keith David. Like, that is such a weird choice for Grimlock, but I love it. I want to hear it. Oh, it's so cool that he's going to be in an actual Transformer cartoon and not just one of the video games. Oh, and he gets to be a cool character, too. Oh, I love it. Love it. And then the last shot we get, and this is a fascinating shot for a few reasons. So we've got Thrash standing beside a fallen Shockwave. What gets me about this scene is the fact that Shockwave is kind of grayed out, where Thrash is not. So it almost makes me think, like, are we getting this flashback as, like, them going into someone's memory or going back in time to view it? Or are we getting told the flashback? Because this seems to imply that we are getting to, like, go back and live the past and see it for ourselves. Let the characters see it for themselves somehow, rather than just getting the story recited to us. Now, it's completely possible that Shockwave here found his way onto Earth, and this is just like the post-battle thing. Someone came in and saved the day by blasting Shockwave into stasis lock, but we don't know. Like, the fact that it's grayed out like this makes me think, oh yeah, they're looking at a memory. Could be wrong, but we do already know there are flashbacks in the next 8 episodes somewhere. It would make sense if not be a little bit of a convoluted way of showing the past events. But it does at least have, like, more importantly to me, is it shows things going on with Thrash. Because the first 10 episodes, I do not think did him justice. So that part I enjoy seeing. So that is the takeaway from 30 seconds of footage of the upcoming 8 episodes. There's a lot to think about, and there's a lot to speculate on and figure out exactly what direction they're going to go in, and I think that's fun to do. So leave your speculation in the comments below, and then a month later, everyone go check and see how right or wrong we all were. But for now, thank you guys for watching. I hope you're looking forward to more Earthspark. I will be doing more episode reviews once those are out, because I'm still thoroughly enjoying the show. And I hope you stay tuned for those and for everything else coming on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.